Alright, how's everybody doing? I'm going to do another video today. Today we're going to do, being that it's Friday the 13th, and this is kind of loosely connected, we're going to do one on the Last Supper and maybe an alternative view of what the Last Supper was really trying to communicate. For people that don't know, Friday the 13th, the 13th guest in the Last Supper is kind of like Norse mythology, and it kind of talks about just the unluckiness of Friday the 13th. So just a little history on it. So the Knights Templar, which is kind of considered charged with the Holy Grail, and if you read Dan Brown, the Holy Grail can be interpreted a lot of ways. One being that it was actually the child of Christ, and I think the Vinci Code. So there's going to be quite a few references to them, but the Knights Templar were arrested on Friday the 13th. The 13th gets at the table, like I talked about, is kind of like Norse mythology, which somewhat applies to my interpretation, which is what we're going to get into. So just real quick on so this is the Last Supper. The depth, dramatic composition, gestures, and scene, it's generic. Some theorists suggest that hidden codes, like her presence or significance, which we'll talk about. So basically, it's just a picture of a religious event, for the most part in modern history, with Judas being the one who is, shown as the traitor here. I don't know if that's necessarily true. So let's take a look at what's going on here from my perspective. So Dan Brown did point this out in his book, that this makes a W, indicating woman. Let's look at the kind of like the construct here, right? We do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 people. Typically the host is considered number one. He's also the savior, so number one. You could look at it as 12 disciples, with her being number 13, actually. Potentially, if you catch my drift. And then we kind of look at what's going on here. You got 3 people here, kind of, it looks like conspiring. You got somebody that really wants to tell Jesus something that Jesus probably doesn't want to hear, and then this guy is looking like to hold him back. So you got another group of 3 here. You look like you have Judas actually might be saying, this to me looks like Mary Magdalene. This might be Judas actually defending Jesus here. I don't know if we have any interpretations like that, but this seems pretty, like he's saying, you better not do this. And she seems really calm, and he's like kind of taken back by what's going on here. And this, they look like they're actually looking over here, like what's going on? And then, this. And then if you look at the colors, kind of observe to see if there's any patterns, and the only thing I can think of is maybe he's trying to show the split even between the individuals, right? Like you got Jesus here, you got pink and blue, which can also be looked at man and female, because he can be considered the Alpha and Omega. And then red, green, red, so you could just be signifying that how separate they were on everything, and maybe they didn't consider Jesus what, and this is Leonardo's depiction in my interpretation, so let's be careful here, but maybe they were saying that there was a lot of infighting because they thought his teachings were incorrect. It could be something like that, but I think there's a lot more going on, and I do think that this right here is Judas telling her not to do something. So maybe we looked at this the incorrect way, saying that Judas was the traitor, and maybe in Leonardo's opinion, he's saying, are we sure about that? I think is the point there. So this is a pretty quick video. There's a lot more that goes into this painting as a whole. Like you can start to look down here and look at stuff, and just God's feet are so straight where everybody else is like leaning, so he's the center. Stuff like that. I mean, there's a lot going on here. But I do think one of the main things is he's showing the divide between them all, and then the fact that that the woman may have been the 13th guest. So that's going to be it for this video. We start posting on my YouTube and just linking them to my Facebook. I think I'm going to start doing a lot of stuff like this. I really enjoy it, so hopefully I'll do too.